can sit?
I
Take your seat.
I'm Anza Abbasi, and I'm eldest among 5 children. Originally, I'm from Larkana, but my family moved to Islamabad when I was 14. I did my O-levels and A-levels from City School Islamabad, Capital's campus, and afterwards I joined NUST for a bachelor's in public administration. And after graduating, I am aspiring for a career in civil services.
So no work experience.
Sir, I have done a little bit of content writing, but it's not a proper employment.
So, and this public policy and governance, these were the majors?
Yeah, these were the majors. A lot of my subjects had governance aspects in them, like e-governance or governance along with law, etc.
You can tell us about this public policy making process?
Yes, sir. The policy process.
Identify. Give me the number. One first step, second.
Agenda setting. Second is policy formulation. Third is policy legitimization. Fourth is policy implementation. And fifth is policy evaluation. There is one policy termination, but there are some scholars who add it and others who don't add it because they say that a policy is never terminated and it keeps on, the process is a cycle that doesn't end. So it really depends which scholar you're following.
And then I think governance. What is the difference between governance and good governance?
So governance is simply steering of the government or how government works. Well, whereas good governance has 8 characteristics. First one is accountability, second is transparency, third is consensus-oriented decision-making, fourth is participatory, fifth is efficiency and effectiveness, sixth is equity, one is rule of law, and the final one is responsiveness. So these are 8 characteristics by UNDP that did find that a good governance will have these 8 characteristics.
There is a general criticism that there is a poor governance in Pakistan. So how to improve it?
So first and foremost, governance can be improved by looking at the key issue over here. We have widespread corruption. As you can see, the corruption perception index is 120 of Pakistan's rank is 120, and other than that, World Bank's control for corruption is, I guess, 23 or 32%, I'm not sure. So first issue is corruption. We have to deal with that. For that we need accountability, and accountability has to be top to down, so people know that people at the higher level are being held accountable for the corruption they do. People at the lower level are also held accountable. And we also need to introduce merit-based recruitment and also merit-based procurement, because most of the times tenders may be given on basis of favoritism. So we need to have a strong merit-based policies in order to make our governance better and in order to reduce corruption.
What is your views about this, your recruitment process? Don't you think this is merit-based?
Sir, CSS is one recruitment process. The government has so many other recruitment processes, and other than that, we have so many other processes where ministries are directly inducing people. I'll give one example that there was recently a news about using those game show, if I'm correct, then those game show tactics to recruit people in railways, somebody suggested that to the minister. So that's not how you recruit people into a service. And secondly, our civil services, like CSS, has a lot of resources devoted to it. If we look at other recruitments that are apart from CSS, a lot of times, like recently we saw the PPSC, like Punjab, the Tehsildar exam was leaked. So there is an issue coming in when it comes to administration of exams and making it a transparent process. CSS is far better off than other exams, but other exams are suffering. So we need to make it proper across the board.
Britain has separated itself from European Union. Do you think it is a good decision on the part of Britain or not?
In my opinion, it's a very bad decision.
Okay, why?
Because once they separate from it, they'll have to pay the customs union. Secondly, they'll have to negotiate separate free trade agreements with other countries. And thirdly, their middle class will be affected, because before that, middle class could easily go into other countries and find employment over there. And now they would be suffering. There was one couple, especially they showed on BBC, which has shifted to France because it feels like that it wouldn't be able to get benefits of EU from UK after Brexit.
So what are the arguments which they have advanced when they went for the referendum and they went into the parliament? Finally, they have passed the law because they feel that they will be more independent, they will be sovereign, and they will be dealing with different nations on their own.
So there was this argument that we would be more sovereign if we quit EU, and especially it was said that we are sending a lot of billions to EU and they can be transferred to the national health services. However, later on it was proven that a lot of these claims are not true. For instance, Boris Johnson's campaign used one law that EU regulates the pillow of literacy, and there's no such EU law. So a lot of times the claims that they used were fake, and they were based on fake news. The same tactics that Donald Trump used to come to power were used in Brexit. So it was, you can say, a rhetoric over there more than actual facts of going against EU.
Today is the 7th of January. Something has happened in US Congress.
Yes, sir.
What is the news?
Sir, according to what I have read, it's basically that today Congress was supposed to announce that who would be the president, and it was supporters of Donald Trump, they stormed into Capitol Hill and they basically vandalized property over there, and now there is a curfew in the area.
How they announce Congress, on what basis Congress announces?
Sir, they're supposed to, I cannot recall it exactly, but I can guess is that they are, according to the official process, once the president is elected, on the 7th of January, it is...
The electoral colleges, they go to the Congress and they certify about the election result of their state. So finally, Mr. Joe Biden has been certified by the Congress today.
Thank you so much, sir. I couldn't recall it. Thank you for enlightening me on that.
Please, sir.
What is Pakistan's nuclear doctrine?
Sir, Pakistan's, I'm not very well versed in nuclear issues, but what I remember is that Pakistan has a no first use policy, that we are not going to be using our nuclear weapons unless they are attacked. And secondly,
That used to be, that was the older one. But the new one doesn't say that. New one says that, yes, Pakistan can be the first user of nuclear weapon. You understand? That is the new doctrine. Why should we be having nuclear weapons when we know they can cause immeasurable destruction? They can wipe out the mankind from Earth. Why? And still we are trying to improve on them every day. We are trying to increase the arsenal. We are doing it knowing that this is going to one day, God forbid, if there is some accident there, how much damage will it cause, or whether can we use them in our fight with each other? Can we afford to do it?
To answer the first question,
Yes.
there is a practical need to have nuclear weapons despite the risk, and that is deterrence. We are in a very troubled neighborhood. One of our neighbor is not willing to talk to us, and it is accusing us of activities that we are not doing, and it is sending its jets and attacking our trees and saying that there's still 300...
Deterrence is a word. Deterrence. What deterrence? Tomorrow, if someone, if he gets mad, he says, okay, I'm going to use the weapon, come what may, because otherwise my enemy will overrun me. So if I don't see any escape route for me, I might decide I might decide to use nuclear weapons. The point is, they are so destructive. Should we be having such weapons in order to protect our own self?
Sir, in my personal opinion, definitely nuclear weapons are a very dangerous thing. However, at the same time, it is the need of our state. We need to have some nuclear deterrence against India. And India so far in our history hasn't come on to have very friendly relations with us. So we need it. And India is continuously increasing its nuclear capacities, and it's buying more and more weapons and doing more deals with other countries. So we need this for our security purposes.
Is there some arrangement also to fight back the enemy with limited nuclear weapons which can cause limited damage. Rather than using nuclear weapons, you see, we have tactical weapons which can be used in case, which cause limited damage, let's say.
So if I'm correct, then we are trying to have good enough nuclear weapons to have some credible deterrence, and the rest of our arsenal would be conventional weapons. So I think we're already doing that.
There are tactical weapons now. We have developed tactical weapons also, which carry nuclear load and which can cause limited damage. Otherwise, if you use nuclear weapons, then it will be total devastation. It will damage that area only where that is targeted, a limited area, let me say 1 mile's radius or half a mile's radius. Max Weber, you have done your public administration. What is the role of Max Weber, or what is he known for in public administration?
Sir, Max Weber is known for giving bureaucracy the characteristics or theory of bureaucracy, and he defined bureaucracy as a most efficient organization through which a process is conducted, and he gave a few characteristics of bureaucracy.
What were those?
First one was a hierarchy along which there is a division of labor and specialization, like there are special government departments responsible for certain things. Secondly, there would be reliance on written rules and procedures according to which bureaucracy will conduct its function. Third, there would be it would be a vocation for that means a bureaucrat comes in office and leaves after retirement. Third, a bureaucrat would be selected on merit. And fourth, another was that the remuneration would be fixed and it would not vary.
Fine. What is the role of district administration in the overall governance of the state?
Sir, the district is the lowest level of the government, and it is district administration is responsible for managing the district, and it is directly related to people, and all the issues within district, be it municipal issues or other issues administrative, come to district administration.
Is there any role of district administration in the formulation of policies at the national level?
Sir, district administration basically implements the policies, and if we look into the theories of policies, so they say that best type of policy making is which is bottom up. So in which a street level bureaucrat is more responsible for implementing policies and more responsible for evolving policies according to the needs of the people. So if we look into the theory of bottom-up policy making, a street-level bureaucrat, or even say your DC or AC, is more responsive in policy making when compared to higher level of administration or government bodies.
Greta Thunberg, what did she do?
So Greta Thunberg was a teenager in Norway, and she basically went on a school strike because the government was not taking enough steps against climate change, and she got viral on social media, after which people, especially youth, organized a lot of climate marches and protests in order to demand their governments to reduce carbon emissions to the level of agreed in Paris Climate Summit, which is 2 degrees.
Okay, fine. Well, what is happening as far as climate change is concerned? Global warming in Arctic region. Something very serious is happening there, taking place. What is that?
Sir, the polar ice in Arctic region, it's melting first and foremost, and it is increasing the sea levels, and which is dangerous for everyone around the world because it would encroach the land. If we take example of Pakistan, so we have a danger of Karachi coming under the sea.
It is emitting carbon more than it is absorbing. They are the global carbon sinks. This Arctic sheet is the global carbon sink. Most of the carbon emitted is absorbed there. But now
the IPCC released a report according to which this is being reversed.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Now they, instead of they being sink, they are emitting carbon emissions, because of melting. They are melting, and things underneath, they are coming up and they are emitting carbon emissions. And finally, 18th Amendment is in the news a lot. Why? Why it is so? Or first tell us, 18th Amendment was one amendment or a plethora of amendments?
So, 18th Amendment was basically, it had amended a huge section of Constitution. So it was one act, but it had a lot of amendments.
How much?
I cannot recall the exact number, but I can say that there were 23 major changes made that I can list.
Oh, no. It was 102.
Article 102, correct.
102 articles, different amendments were made, and they were part of the 18th Amendment.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for correcting me.
It was we all know, passed within half an hour. 102 amendments, they were passed within half an hour, this 18th Amendment.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
What is justice?
What is?
Justice.
Sir, justice is the delivery of justice system, or just the concept of justice?
How are you going to define the word justice?
So doing the just thing, or being doing, like, if I can quote Plato, so he said that doing what you ought to do was justice, and Aristotle defined it as one concept was giving people what they ought to have, like his distributive justice, and then another concept was, I'm sorry, I will have to read on that.
Okay. You have been a student of public administration. What is management by objectives?
The management by objectives is a concept according to which certain objectives are set, and then the management tries to reach those goals and objectives, and that's defined management by objective.
Something more?
There is also a concept of budget by objective associated with management by objective, that where you set certain objectives and then you follow them and try to achieve them.
We have been talking about climate change. What are the major effects of climate change on Pakistan?
So first and foremost, the major effect of climate change is change in weather pattern. If we see that monsoon patterns have been shifting quite a lot, and the precipitation is falling. So we are already water scarce, and that is adding into our water crisis issue. Another issue we have of climate change, like recently we had the locust attack, and the UN Environmental Program said that this is because of climate change, because the rains that happened in the Iran and Balochistan region weren't supposed to happen in that region, and that gave breeding ground to the locust, and we had the worst locust crisis in 25 years. Other than that, we are seeing that the sea is encroaching the land in Karachi, and smog issue is somewhat also related to climate change.
Can you suggest any measures to eradicate corruption in Pakistan?
So first and foremost, the measure would be to identify where corruption is taking place, and is to have an accountability drive across the board. Like if there is somebody is identified as involved in corrupt practices, that person should be held accountable regardless of their status or their socio-economic background. So first would be an accountability drive. Second would be a merit-based provision of government contracts. Like for instance, if there is a government contract given on basis of favoritism, and that person has paid someone, then they are not going to be very cognizant of the quality of the service they provide. So we have to make sure that every transaction that takes place is on the basis of merit. And thirdly, we have a lot of corruption in our informal economy. We are not documenting a lot of transactions that are happening, so we need to document that as well.
Okay, gracias.
Thank you. Ji Anza, what is the basic summary of Muqaddimah Ibn Khaldun?
Sir, it is a very long book. I haven't read it, but I'm sure the next time we meet, I might be able to tell you.
Okay. So, what are the major difference between Muslim political thought and Western political thought?
Sir, the Muslim political thought, and I don't personally see much difference because a lot of Muslim scholars took the ideas of the Greek philosophers and they brought it in, like the idea of democracy or philosopher king. Al-Farabi said that there was a prophet king instead of philosopher king, and because we can't have a philosopher king, so we will have a, because we can't have a prophet king, so we'll have a council of democrats. So in many ways there isn't much difference there. What difference that comes in, it comes in the time of enlightenment, where the secularism was promoted to a wider degree. So in my opinion, the classical thought of Western thought doesn't have
You're saying they're the same, okay?
similar.
Okay. Islam support democracy or not?
So in my opinion, it does support democracy, because if we look into at the time of Prophet ﷺ, he always consulted people before making a decision. So the process of consultation is there. So Islam supports democracy.
Should there be universal franchise or a limited?
In this day and age, we can have a universal franchise and everyone can vote. It is easy, so therefore every vote counts.
All right. Thank you.
Let's conclude this session. आप बताएं, how do you feel about your preparation?
So I need to do a little bit more on few concepts and few definitions.
अभी we have not discussed so many things.
Yes,
Anyway, you are very good, you are articulate, and mashallah, you are intelligent, you are confident. Okay, in our rating, you are very good today. To me, they will speak for themselves. Coming from Ladkana से आ रही है, you have a fair chance.
Sir, मैं इधर रही हूँ, but I have been there. I go there very frequently.
So you must know something about district Ladkana.
कौन आप लोग आपके वालिदैन वहाँ रहते थे या क्या ज़मीनें वगैरह थी?
नहीं, मेरी फैमिली, मेरे वालिद साहब को इस्लामाबाद में नौकरी मिल गई थी, तो हम यहाँ पे शिफ्ट हो गए थे जब।
आपके वालिद लड़काना से हैं, सिंध से? अच्छा।
तो अभी ये है कि बस what you need to do is to do hard work. मिरर के सामने खड़ी होकर प्रैक्टिस करें, अपने आप को देखें how you are performing. थोड़ा सा हो सके स्टेबिलिटी ज़्यादा आ जाएगी. एंड यू मस्ट प्रिपेयर. अभी इंटरव्यू कब है आपका? 14 को. चले जो पुराने अखबार है ना, उनकी मोटी मोटी सुर्खियाँ देखें, और ये यूएस का इलेक्शन ख़ास तौर पर ये यूएस कांग्रेस का यूएस इलेक्शन है, इसको थोड़ा सा देख लें. गल्फ़ का देख लें, गल्फ़ काउंसिल का शिफ्ट इन पाकिस्तान पॉलिसी, इसको देख लें. बाकी ये जो हमारा रीजनल डेवलपमेंट हो रही है वो देख लें. ठीक है ना. A to Z ये है 80%. इसी चीज़ को आप अच्छी तरह समझ गए ना, तो आई थिंक यू विल कवर योर 80%. ठीक है ना. इनकी राइट फ्रॉम Anza name, it may start from here. So you need to be thorough about what you have written here. Everything will be, it will be sort of a verification of what you have written.
ये आपने अपनी वीकनेस लिखी है, ओवरवर्क. ये क्या, what do you mean by overwork?
So overwork as in that I work past 9 to 5. अगर मुझे पढ़ना है तो मैं I work past it. Usually I'm studying till 8, especially in the student life when I was at NAS. So how's your weakness? वो तो आपको जितना आप पढ़ती हैं आपको फ़ायदा होता है? सबसे हो जाता है कि फिर मैं पढ़ती ही रहती हूँ और भी चीज़ें करनी
फ़ायदा होता है ना आपको?
सर ग्रेड्स का फ़ायदा होता है, but then my friends get a little disappointed that I'm not spending time with them. ठीक
है, ये सिलेक्शन ऑफ वर्ड सही होना चाहिए.
बैलेंस.
वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस पर सर ये उधर उस वाले परफॉर्मा में नहीं पूछी वीकनेस, तो सर जस्रा वाले
तो आगे तो कुछ भी सरप्राइज हो सकता है.
हाँ, सरप्राइज हो सकता है.
कल को आप इंटरव्यू पैनल को कहेंगे तो ये तो उस पैनल ने सवाल ही नहीं पूछे थे.
ये होता तो है नहीं है उसमें.
एट टाइम सर होता है वो, दे कीप ऑन चेंजिंग एज वेल.
कोविड से रिलेटेड काफी देखी. कोविड में व्हाट डिड यू डू ड्यूरिंग द लॉकडाउन, और 18 अमेंडमेंट पे था कि व्हाट्स योर ओपिनियन ऑन 18 अमेंडमेंट.
स्टिल यू डिडंट प्रिपेयर.
लड़काना तो सिंध के इश्यूज आ जाएंगे, 18th अमेंडमेंट पे आ जाएगा. So there are a lot many issues will be there, but I think you need to work very hard, क्योंकि मसला ये है कि limited seats हैं, competition tight हो जाता है, तो keep it up.
जो आए हैं ना सिंध रूरल डोमिसाइल के, वो भी अच्छे हैं, तो इसलिए ना ये इट्स ए कंपटीशन बिटवीन वेरी गुड स्टूडेंट्स, तो इसलिए थोड़ा सा ये है, अदरवाइज पहले नहीं होता था, लेकिन अब तो
अब रूरल सेंस से काफ़ी हो गया. चलें, बेस्ट ऑफ लक.